Welcome into this tabloid version of NFL Daily here by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and the reason that I bring that up is because this feels like something that you would read in People magazine. The breaking news here, which isn't even about the NFL, it's a former head coach, Bill Belichick, who is making headlines today. Him and his girlfriend are apparently causing major waves at the University of North Carolina. This is the most recent from Yahoo Sports, who said, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, is reportedly banned from UNC's football facilities. One Bill Belichick family source said there is deep worry for how detrimental Jordan is becoming to not only his current status as the North Carolina head coach, but as his legacy as a coach in general. Now, I'll start off by saying this. Information gets out when somebody wants it out. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's 100% truth. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a complete lie. There's probably somewhere in the middle between this. But I do know this. When somebody wants to leak information, somebody finds a way to leak information at all levels. Now, before we get into more about their completely weird dynamic, how about a little bit about Bill himself? You know, he's a 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach with the New England Patriots. He did sign to become North Carolina's head coach back in December of 2024, a move that surprised a lot of us, frankly. And then, this whole girlfriend situation, Jordan Hudson, who, by the way, is 24 years old. He started dating her back in 2022, which means she would have been, 21? That's crazy work. Now, I'll say this. Despite what you might think about a guy who's in his early 70s dating someone who's in their mid-20s. I'm not here to judge about, the age of it all. That's a different conversation for a different day. We do know this, that they are dating. We do know that Jordan has caused some major waves, not only in his press conferences, but in his interviews, and has even caused disturbances on the practice field as they get ready for the upcoming 2025 season. Now, this was interesting. The University of North Carolina came back out and said this about the Jordan Hudson case. This was just earlier today. While Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the University of Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. Okay. What? So why on earth was it leaked that she was banned from these facilities, and now you're backtracking and saying, no, she's not banned. She is welcome at the facilities, but she's going to take a more active role in Bill's personal brand outside of Carolina football. This feels like a load of crap. So to me, what this stands for is quite simply this. They're tired of her antics. They want Bill to focus on football. Somebody leaked it that she wasn't allowed to go to the facilities while the team was practicing football, and then it was a bad look and a lot of bad PR. So the athletic department said, no, wait, she's still allowed, but we'd prefer her to just make sure that she stayed away from it when the Carolina football team was practicing football. Now, all of this is kind of deleterious, in my opinion, to the upcoming season here for the Tar Heels. But there is a silver lining in this, at least for Bill Belichick. He does have a $10 million clause that if he were to leave before June 1st, he re-owes the university $10 million of his contract. However, he would only owe the university $1 million if he leaves after June 1st. So there's a lot of speculation now that Bill might not even coach the team in 2025. That this whole situation might be causing too much drama, and that he'll just take his money and he'll leave, send that $1 million back and say, hey, sorry about this, I'm going to retire early. So that leads me to my question here. Will Belichick coach the Tar Heels in 2025? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think he will. I think Bill loves football too much. I don't think this whole girlfriend dilemma and debacle is enough to keep him off the field, at least for 2025. I have no idea about 2026, but let me know down in the comment section below. Now let's get on to some more concrete stuff. NFL talk. Let's get into some football. Gabe Davis, has he been released officially? The sources would say yes, but the truth is they're not going to actively release him until post June 1st, and we'll get into that here in just a second. So a little bit more on the Gabe Davis front. He obviously signed last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a former fourth-round pick out of UCF, and he did miss the final 7 games of last season with a really nasty knee injury. Now, Gabe Davis is kind of an anomaly as a wide receiver. He's got a hell of a production standing with 29 touchdowns in just 5 seasons played. That's outstanding. If you want to know where that stands in terms of like production amongst other contemporaries in the NFL, other wide receivers, we have an interesting statistic coming up that will show you that he is among the elite in the NFL. But like I said, that 3-year, $39 million contract last year seemed to be like a really good offseason signing at the beginning of last year. Now, after this season, and after the horrendous year that he had, it's clear that Jacksonville made a mistake. Now, they're quickly moving off of Gabe Davis. They're taking on a $20 million cap hit, but this is where the release comes in. If he's released post June 1st, they can spread that dead cap money over 2 seasons rather than just eat it straight away if they were to release him right now. So all of the articles that you'll read say that he's officially released, but he's not actually released because the team is designating this for a post-June 1st release. Now, like I said, the last 4 seasons, he's not that great of a receiver. He's been okay. I think where they paid him all that money is because they thought he was going to find the end zone far more frequently than he did in 2024. Now, you have to remember something. He was with Josh Allen. But remember what I just said to you about his contemporaries in the NFL? This is where he ranks in the NFL in touchdowns since 2020 among wide receivers. This is some pretty good company. If you're in the same conversation as DJ Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, and Devontae Smith, you're doing something right on the football field. Now, I will say this. He will have a market. Somebody's going to scoop him up. You just don't ignore a statistic like that if you don't believe that there's still some quality football left to be played. With that being said, I think there are some teams that will find his services to be of use in 2025. Any one of these teams could use him as a wide receiver 3, 4, or 5. The Denver Broncos, I know, will probably need a wide receiver 4 or 5. The Falcons could use somebody. The Jets actually would probably use his services as a wide receiver 3 behind Allen Lazard and Garrett Wilson. But I can see him landing with any one of these 5 teams. And speaking of NFL teams, if you want to support your favorite NFL players, especially from this 2025 rookie class, make sure you start shopping their jerseys right now with Fanatics. All you have to do is use this link right here that I put in the comments and description of today's video. Head on over to Fanatics and shop for your favorite players' jerseys like Shedeur Sanders, like Cam Ward, Colston Loveland. I have personally bought 2 jerseys already from Fanatics, and I will be buying a 3rd one here in just a couple of months, getting ready for the 2025 season. Again, use this link that I put in the comments and description of today's video and start shopping with Fanatics today. All right, that's enough about Gabe Davis. How about to the next guy? Jadeveon Clowney, who has had a very productive NFL career. He is kind of nearing the end. He's going into his 12th season in the NFL. But just a little backstory about him, 2014 number 1 overall pick out of South Carolina by the Texans. If you remember, back in South Carolina, he had that highlight tape YouTube clip of him absolutely demolishing that Michigan running back. It went completely viral, and that's kind of what bought into the hype of Jadeveon Clowney. But like I said, 58 career sacks is a very, very productive NFL career. He was just released by the Panthers at the time of this recording yesterday on Thursday, May 8th. So I feel like Jadeveon Clowney, he is nearing the end. He's on the back 9 of his career, and that's okay. He could be a very nice rotational edge rusher for a number of NFL teams. And last year, he wasn't even that bad. 46 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. There's still some gas left in the tank there for Jadeveon Clowney. He still has some speed off the edge. He's still a very strong player. Maybe not nearly as athletic or as spry or as much juice in his days now versus what he was back in like 2016 or 2017. But I think that if he were to add as a complementary piece or rotational edge to a team that is starving for pass rush help, this could be an immediate signing. And what are those teams that you might ask? Any number of these teams right here. The Detroit Lions could use somebody. The Washington Commanders. All 5 of these teams, by the way, had trouble getting to the quarterback at some point in the 2024 season. I did put on there the Green Bay Packers, although I don't necessarily see how that helps as much because they need a edge one, and I don't think he is that. But to pair alongside Montez Sweat in Chicago, I feel like could be a very, very nice addition to the Chicago Bears front line. Now, before we end today's video, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. We are trying to get 250 likes on today's video. It becomes harder and harder for us to get more and more great NFL content as we shift over now to the summer months where we'll still have some rookie minicamp and OTAs reporting to give to you guys, but for the most part, we're kind of hitting that low spot in the NFL. So help us out and keep us on your timeline. Hit that thumbs up button and lock us in. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool and thanks for watching.